Be'ez Hashem Parshas Yisroi, Tavshin Pei Daled. The Svarim that explain that Bitochen is Miloshen Betach, has the same source, same shoirish. Betach means that a person is sure of himself. So today, let's a little bit talk about the concept of being sure of yourself. A person should have clarity while they are doing what they're doing, that this is the right thing and this is what they should be doing. Because if you don't, then it's very hard to have bitochen. Now let's explain why. One of the big yesoides in bitochen, which we're learning the last couple of weeks or maybe months, is that a person should be doing actions. If it's in Parnasa, he's doing the proper ishtadlus. If it's for ruchnias, then he's coming to yeshiva, trying to learn. He's not sitting around. But he's connecting the machshava, his mind, to the actions, the right machshavas. Instead of thinking that, hey, I'm so smart, I can make a lot of money, he's thinking, I'm doing the Rebbeinu Shem's Ratzon of whatever the person is doing to do the Rebbeinu Shem's Ratzon. And he's constantly fighting not to be thinking the machshavas that are the opposite of bitochen. Rather, he's focusing that he's doing the Ratzon from the Rebbeinu Shalom and he's in Hashem's hands. Now, it's not possible for a person to have the machshava connected to his actions, the right machshava, if constantly he's in doubt. Maybe not, maybe yes. Who says it's the right thing? So that contradicts automatically the ability of a person to be able to have this chibur, this connection, that his mind, his machshava, his neshama is connected to his actions. And the tricky part is that in most areas of ishtadlus, it's not black and white, it's gray area. So that is many times it's a gewaldige shter. It doesn't let a person be about bitochen because he's stuck at a zeitige reason. He's be'emes stuck there. I should have done it. I shouldn't have done it. And most times a person is obsessed with that machshava. Even people that are not dafka OCD, but they're obsessed because they can't get out of it because they don't have the answer. It could be if a person should do this deal. They have no idea. How do I know if it's going to be successful or not? I don't know. So he's trying his luck. Someone tells him A, then he calls a different friend, and the guy says the exact opposite. He himself, when it comes to his emotions, it looks good, he gets very excited. But then someone told him opposite, and he's like, what do I need this whole thing for? It doesn't make any sense. While this turmoil is happening, so there's no place even to be able to be mechaber, the right machshavas to the asiyah, to what he's doing, because he has no idea what's happening. This is, we said one dogma deal, but it could be if a person should do a certain shidduch. It's a gray area. So there are people that look the cop out way, like they ask the makubal. They do it by the deals, the same mahalach. I'm not saying it's not right. I'm saying the concept is like, I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna, it's like a shtickle goydel, like, and from my side, ach weiß nicht, so I'm gonna ask.
And a big company that ran like that.
A big company, what? Every time they had to make a decision, what they do?
There was a Sephardi makubal in New York that used to ask.
A Sephardi makubal used to ask, yes and no questions, and that's how, it's the easiest way. And if the makubals are erlich yid, not bad. The question is, the Rebbeinu Shem wants us to work it out. What does the Rebbeinu Shem expect from us while we're not Ba'al Ruach HaKodesh? Like until, or if the line is busy, you don't have a makubal handy, and that's the majority of 99% of people, or 99% of situations. You can't a whole time just ask. And we know also the tzaddikim explain many times that the answer of a tzaddik many times has to do with the way the question is presented, with the level, with the madrega of the person while they're asking the question. That means to say, even if a person is saying, what's wrong? That's the lakatchila. You should have a tzaddik, you should always ask him. Let's not get into that. Could be that's lakatchila, but still, Hashem wants a person to be able to handle a suffix. Hashem wants a person to be able to make decisions in life. An adult has to be able to make decisions. And you have a challenge before you make the decision and after you make that decision. Did I make the right decision? It doesn't go away. So you could talk about it as a topic, kishla atzma. You could the topic of making decisions, but now let's try to understand how does it work together with bitochen, with having the right set of values in your mind and in your heart. How are you supposed to go through this ma'avar? Now, without it, it's not really possible to rely on the Rebbeinu Shalom, because the person is going to get stuck. The moshel after the decision that he made. It was Bashert, but then at night he's going to say, I shouldn't have never done it. What was I thinking? So that's where it's like, where am I with the bitochen? It gets very complicated and it gets very tricky. So let's try to start with the easy halakha. With the easier halakha. When a person is oisik in tefillah, we know the Gemara in Brachos Daf Nun, the Gemara says that a person should ask bachno like a oni, like a poor man standing by the door. He asks, if Hashem lets, if Hashem is masking, then I would want to request, but I don't know. I'm going to quote what Rashi says. Rashi says, Shah shoyel ka'oni al Pesach. When you're asking from the Rebbeinu Shalom, you ask like a oni. She'enei meidim roish lishol shai legedoyle. He doesn't have the audacity to ask a big amount. Sometimes you go to a rich man, he says, okay, so what are you asking for? And you throw the pitch is like $50,000. Only that's what Pesach. He doesn't feel comfortable to ask the biggest amount because he feels beggars can be choosers. That's the Yesod. That's what Rashi says. Then the Gemara says that we find in the Posik that when a person is asking, it's harchaf picha v'amaleyu, that a person could just ask whatever he wants. Rashi says, lish'ol kol tavoscha. Like the Melech says, at chatzi amachas, just say anything that you want. So the Gemara asks, it's a stira, contradicts. How should a person ask? And the Gemara says, hahu b'divrei Torah ksiv. That it depends if you're asking now for gashmius or for ruchnius. If a person is asking for an apartment, to have a decent amount of money, a good job, anything that has to do with their material, with the gashmi, their needs, then a person asks. But he has that doubt. If it's good to me, if it's not good to me, how much ich weiß nicht. So because of that, he asks a certain way. He's very clear. He knows that he doesn't know. And because of that, there's a way of talking. Now that's clarity. He has clarity. That's how I'm supposed to be asking. I'm supposed to be asking like Oni, that I don't know if it's good for me, but if it's good for me, I'll tell you Benecha I say. If it's not good for me, then don't do it, he says Hashem, then I don't want it. But if it's good for me and the Eibush is only waiting for my tefillah, so I'm asking. So I know that you're the only source, I can't ask anybody else. As long as they chap their matziv, then they're good. What's the matziv? Where's your place? Your place is that you are a beggar, and you're not really worthy of getting it. So that's the tzura. That's the
format.
the way of asking, it looks like, it's like if someone would be watching it, observing how you're asking, you would see, wow, he has achnoah. But when a person is asking to be matzliach in Torah, to be matzliach in Tefillah, to be matzliach in Sur Meirah, anything that's part of his obligations and his responsibility in this world, ruchniist, so then beg the Rebbeinu Shalom, Hashem should please don't leave go, don't how do you say that?
Don't send us back empty-handed.
Don't send us back empty-handed. I'm begging. Yeah, so I was once with a group of boys, and I asked the boys that if you would have to be in a certain city for Shabbos, you have a simcha, a family simcha, and you have a friend that has an apartment there, and you say, oh, that's such a good idea. You're thinking, I'm going to ask my friend if I could have his apartment for Shabbos. So you could have two nuschos, two ways of asking. One way of asking is, listen, I don't want to pressure. I don't know. You can never know what goes on in someone's life, especially, I don't know, punkt now for Shabbos. I'm just telling you, I have a simcha, and it would mean for me the world. But feel free. You could say, no, you don't even have to call me back. I was just thinking, if you anyways not being here, it would be a big toiva. Then there's a different way of asking. The other way of asking is, listen, you remember we were friends, right? Okay, I'll tell you the truth. I already done everything. I asked, I have no apartment, and I have to be here for Shabbos. Now don't tell me no. Okay, no, don't do it to me. So I asked him, what's the right way of asking? So you had some boys there. So one of the boys said, well, it depends if Yitaka has no choice. Like then he should come down hard. But the Gemara says, depends if you're asking for Gashmias or you're asking for Ruchnis. From the Rebbeinu Shalom, there's two nuschos. If you're asking for Gashmias, then it doesn't make any sense to say, yeah, please, but stop pressuring. Maybe it's not good. Why are you so sure? If you're asking for something that you know it's life, then you're asking, you're begging, because you know it's Chaim, and the Rebbeinu Shalom knows that it's Chaim, and I have no other choice. A person stopped me in one of the airports not long ago, and he told me this word. He told me that in Nishmas, we thank the Rebbeinu Shalom. We say, we thank. Now, the whole Nishmas was saying, Abisha gave us what we weren't worthy. I can't thank enough. And then we say, please Hashem, don't leave go. So he presented the question. He said, you're ruining it, because imagine someone gives you $1 million and then you say, I can't stop thanking you, but could I have another 50? What's that Valti chain? Yeah, could I please for the taxi? What does that mean? I thought you said you can't thank enough. You said I can't thank enough. And then you're saying, but please, tomorrow I would enjoy to have it again. So he said, a gewaldige way of answering. He said, imagine someone's there's a 50-story building, and someone's in the top, and he fell down, and he's falling, he's dropping to his death, and someone sticks out his head in the window and grabs him by one foot like that and saves his life, and he's holding him like that. Then that person is telling you, I can't thank you, but he's also saying, please don't leave go. Why is that? Because it's life. So it's not like chosser takt. It's not the pshat is that if the pshat is when it comes to life, then it makes very much sense. So this is this Gemara. That means the mahalach adavorim, when a person is in need of something and he's not sure, I don't know if I need it or not. Whenever you're not sure, there's a system of asking when you're not sure. Not a problem. You could have 100% clarity how to ask in that matziv. You shouldn't be mixed up. You shouldn't say, maybe I shouldn't daven. That's a mistake. Stam a mistake. Yeah, but maybe it's not good for me. So come, I'll show you how to daven. There's a lane for these matzavim. Feel comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable, you can never put your heart to it. It's not geschmack, but there are certain people, they don't know what kind of bracha to make on certain foods. They make a bracha like, if I needed to make a bracha, I made a bracha. If not, I also didn't. So beide zusammen. So people daven in a way, they're like, I'm davening, but while they're davening, they're like spaced out. I don't know, do I know? No. The doubt, we were saying bitochen is betach. There's many areas, maybe most, that we don't know. Not maybe, for sure. Most matzavim, a person doesn't know what's ahead of him and what. But learn to be extremely clear with your tefillah to the Rebbeinu Shalom and cruise on hundreds. Vos, the answer is, I'm a oni. I don't know what's good for me. Only you could help me. Lead me to do the right thing. Help me, I shouldn't make a mistake. And back to the Indian of the deal. He's asking from the Rebbeinu Shalom, if it's the right thing, let it go. If not, it should be determined. It should be a different word. The Eibusher should nix it. Should get rid of it. Was schneller. That's always by a shidduch. And it's always by any type of situation or decision. That's the tefillah that he's asking. He's a oni. It's a chnoah. And he's explaining to the Rebbeinu Shalom, being that I don't know, some so stark relying, so help me to lead me the right way. And I'm going blindly. I'm just holding your hand. Now, after they ask that tefillah, so a person tries usually to go to the next step. Baby steps, but baby steps. He tries to see. If it's not for me, help me, it shouldn't happen. And he's thinking, I'm in the Rebbeinu Shalom's hands. That's when it comes to Gashmias. When it comes to a person who wants to be Matzliach, he can't concentrate while he's davening. It's just not working. Doesn't have the right minyan. And so on. The whole Torah mitzvah is very clear. The person is supposed to watch his eyes. There's no doubt. It's very clear. He just needs help. So then, there's no need to that type of relying. The relying is not that I don't know. The relying is I can't do it on my own. I can't do it on my own. So the Rebbeinu Shalom, you need to give me a gewaldige koyach. It's a fascinating sfas emes. The sfas emes says that when a person by the Yetzer Hara, it says in the Gemara, Yitzrei Shalodam Eschadish B'chol Yom. Every day there's a new Yetzer Hara with a new chap, with something brand new nisoyan, chidushim. So he says that Eishes Poitifar came to Yosef. It says in the Pasuk, Kedar be'elav Yom Yom, and the Chazal say, Masechta Soite, she wore different clothing every day, chidushim, trying to persuade him to get him to do Aveda. Zog des was emes, if by Dimyan and Shtusim it's possible chidushim, really it's all about imagination. So there's no place really for real chiddush. But still, it says in the Gemara, the Yetzer comes with a new chap every day. He says, Kolchkin kal v'choyme, that every single day there's new ideas how a person can be masliach and ruchnias. When the day comes, chadash b'tuvoi, it comes along, not only because it has to be leveled in nisoyan. So if there's new nisyonis, then there's also new ideas how to conquer them, how to be successful. But even more, because the Torah's emes, chochma be'emes has place for chidushim every day. So every time it's chidushim. So back to what we're saying, but when it comes to ruchni, as a person's asking the Rebbeinu Shalom, it's clear what you want. This is what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants, but I need a koiches to do it. That's where my matzav is. So I'm asking the Rebbeinu Shalom, give me the koich to do it, and there a person's harchav picha. A person is not like He's not embarrassed to ask. He's coming full force. He's saying, don't do this to me. I'll chain Hashem because I can't. Because I need, because if I don't have Torah and mitzvahs, I'm going to be a total mess. The Marsho in Masechtas Brachos, the Marsho says that what's the beginning of the posik? Harchef picha, broaden your mouth, ask for anything that you want. The beginning of that posik is Anoichi Hashem Alekecha, Hamalcha Meretz Mitzroim. And then it says Harchef picha v'amaleyu. So the Marsho says the posik is explaining to the person that the Rebbeinu Shalom could do anything. The Eibusha took you out of Mitzrayim. Anything, Kriyas Yamsov, all the markers. So, Oy Bazoi, you should ask the Rebbeinu Shalom anything, because don't worry, don't be humble when it comes, because you should know the Eibusha could do anything. And the fear is always, with one word, the Marsha, he says, and there was there B'divrei Torah. We don't see that Teretz is Parshas Yisro. That all the markers and Kriyas Yamsov, everything was in order to have them to the kids, so we should be able to. So the Eibusha is gonna, a person has to chap what the taich. The Eibusha is gonna turn around everything for you, because that's what the Eibusha did in the first time around. So if you are very determined that what do you want? You want to be close to the Eibusha. You want to do the Eibusha's rotzeh, and you're saying it's not an option. Anything else? You're asking with such a mahalach, with such a mindset that there isn't any other option. So you should know the Eibusha pushes the seva to the side. The Eibusha pushes it to the side when it comes to help a person that he should be able to serve the Rebbeinu Shalom. So you don't have to be worried that it's against the teva. Maybe in some chamalanes, maybe I shouldn't be asking to have. Don't worry. That's fine. That's part of the terms and conditions. By Ruchnius, it works like that.
We learned before not to start telling HaKadosh Baruch Hu how you want that.
How to do it is once again lav dafka Ruchnius. Ruchnius is, I have to do my duties. It's very clear. I have to daven, I have to learn, I have to do chesed, I have to be nice to people. I shouldn't be fighting. And many times he said, I can't. Look at my matziv. Just today, a person told me that he came to Yisrael because he has to make a decision. It's or this part of the family, his mother, and whatever, or his siblings. So he says, I'm playing this game ready for the longest time, but it looks to me that I'm getting to the dead end and I'm going to have to cut with one side. What should a person do in such a matziv? No. The answer is very poshut. A person should chap that no. But Derech HaTeva looks like that you're going to have to, it's becoming a mess, and I'm going to have to get into a fight with the other half. It's a mistake. Ich weiß aber Derech HaTeva looks like that. You push as long as you can. Beg the Rebbeinu Shalom, the Eibusha should make a nest for you, a nest that you should be able to keep, that you shouldn't get into a fight with all that. But you need a nest, so you should daven like that. You should daven knowing that. But I need the Eibusha doesn't want machloikis. The Eibusha doesn't want. But this guy said, but that guy was impossible. The tzaddikim did many different interesting ideas how to. The Bobber Rebbe, Reb Shloime, the famous story that there was a chasana that if he's going to go to the chasana, then he's going to show that he's part of this side. If he's not going to go, it's also a statement. Whatever he does, it's a statement. He picked himself up and he flew to London. He didn't go, he did not go. Okay, a one-time thing is much easier than people that have this family issue. It's not easy. It's not easy. But there are many people in this matziv. Many. That it's so complicated. It's so complicated that it doesn't look like it's going to be possible to push this through. Don't worry. It's scary. Very, very scary. But have clarity. It's a mitzvah, and the other side is not good. It looks like it's not possible. Ask the Rebbeinu Shalom. It's so important because people get so messed up. And they get messed up because they didn't have a breira. That's what hurts. They're not shallow people. They made a decision. Their kids took a certain route, Avodas Hashem, whatever it is, and they're like, it's going to be a pitzut. Something's going to happen. But the Eibishter has ways that everything could match. That's part of the Harchav Picha. Let's go back to the beginning sentence of this shir. After seeing by Tefillah, there is two clear mahalchim that the Gemara says. When you're not sure that it's the right thing, and when you are sure that it's the right thing. So now, a person, when it comes to bitochen, a person has to categorize what's the matzav. That's the number one. ABC. And many times, we don't go through this step of categorizing 1 second. Maybe there's clarity that this is richtig and this is not richtig. Sometimes a person is going to be oiv on a kibbut av. Sometimes a person is going to be being mitzar someone, miskabe b'kloin chaveiroi, on the way. That's why a lot of times people ask the Torah. Like, you're trying to see, maybe there's something very clear here. If it's clear that this you're not allowed to do, then it's not a question. Once it's not a question, I have clarity. This is the right thing. I'm not going to rethink and be constantly doubting myself. There's no mokum of it. I lost money. I caused akmas nefesh. What's the difference? It was clear that you have to get that clarity straight. You have to learn it. You have to understand it. Many times, after a person asks the Adam Godel, sometimes a person already asked Adam Godel, but it's Ika Chasam and Aseifa, because they don't even know why the Adam Godel told them to do that. It's so sad. Why? Because you're an inch away from clarity. Because could be if he has a munach, so he's just going to follow, because what do you mean? My Rebbe said. But if it's going to be a drop different the case, then er weiß der weiter nicht. And also it's such a chaval, because there's something you could learn here. This is a bad line. This you can't do. There's a famous memoir from Rav Moshe Feinstein that they told him this on the public telephone. There's a question of a woman that's in a shver matzah. Maybe she was in the middle of giving birth, and she has a question what she should do right now, the doctors and whatever. And he was after Shtilah Shemona Esrei. He finished Shemona Esrei, was before Chazaras Hashatz. So they told him the question, and it was like kind of pikuach nefesh. It sounded like something, and they told him to go to the phone. He needed to verify details, but then he stopped. He said, "Someone's davening Shemona Esrei, and it says in halacha that you're not allowed to pass in front." So they looked at him, and they were like, "Yeah, but it's very important." So he told them, "But it's a wall." He told him, well, "What am I supposed to do? If it's locked, it's locked. I can't get through." The concept of it, again, you have to know the exact details of the story, but the concept of it is that if a person understands this you can't do, this you should do, then it gives the person the bitachon. And sometimes a person is kamat there, and when it comes to bitachon, it's very important that a person should get there all the way. That means a person knows be'erich. So many times you're basing a decision on information that's misleading and information that's missing. That's the reason why you can't really have bitachon afterwards, because you're playing a game. You made the decision because you don't know why. You made the decision because you wanted it very bad, because of a zayte gezach, and then you messed up and you're like, I didn't do it. It was bashert. It wasn't bashert. Chaval. Go back before you make that decision and get all the pieces of information, and again, and write down the pros and the cons, till you could have a clarity. Does this belong in the situations that's still gray area? And then my tefillah is not going to be for it to happen. Does the Rebbeinu Shalom, b'schus avos, b'schus mitzvahs, please lead me in the right direction. But many times, in the middle, one piece of information comes up, which it tilts the ganze Sache. No, I can't do this. This is going to hurt someone very badly, and you can't hurt people. You can't do that. It's not an option. So this is advice number one, that a person should categorize, and in order to categorize, we need to get very, very clear the information, so we get to feel if we have all the information on the table, which is giving us, which is drawing the right picture. Right. They say this story that there was a couple that came to a Godel, and they said that they don't have shalom bayis. What's the problem? When it comes to decision making, everybody is very strong what they feel there should be. So he said, let's make a pshor. All Ruchni is the good decisions, he'll be in charge. Anything that has to do with the color of the tiles, anything that has to do with Gashmias, she's going to be in charge. And that's how we know. They came back a few weeks later, they said, we're back and stuck. What's the problem? Every decision, he says it's a Ruchni is the good decision. Now, it's a gewaldige story. It's not stam a joke. It's a good story for us. Because this takes us to the next level of this sugya. That a person has to know that there are many areas in life which is really his call if it's a ruchni decision or not. After we know to put the gashmis in ruchni is there, it's really, you have to be honest with yourself. Very honest with yourself. What's be'emes the reason why you want this inyan? And that's kiveya if you could ask a certain way or not, and afterwards if you're going to be able to be boiteach a certain way or not. There's many dugmos. One of them, which is be'emes shalom bayis, issue many times. They want to know where to live, if they should move to Lakewood. Constantly, this decision is many times. Husband and wife defer. She has her family and her sisters. It says, this question comes up. Now he is saying, yeah, but. Now he knows it's going to be much harder for her to move away, whatever. Bnei Brak to Chvezu. For her it's going to be very hard. Now, he has to know why he so badly wants to move. He says because of the shul, because of the community, but what part of the shul? It's, if a person's trying to live with the truth, then they say the truth. And when they say the truth, sometimes it's not geschmack, because then they find themselves that it's not fair what they're doing. Because for your comfort, sometimes it's a matter of you're going to have comfort level 2 steps higher, but for her it's going to be miserable 5 steps lower. It's like the regular cases. So that's why a person has to be able to stell avek this Indian very, very strong. By being honest with himself, be'ikah, what's driving him? And many times it's tricky. He wants to stay in Koilel, and it's a Gashmizik decision. Possible. His father-in-law, whatever it is, he's not right now in the mood of hearing Bidyuk what the Baruch Shem wants, because it passed him nicht. It's tricky either way. Yeah, having a bigger house. These are really tough ones, but a person that's honest with himself could sometimes feel that he knows the truth. He says the Eibusha knows what's going on in inside, and I can tell you that I feel that I don't have Yeshiva Das, and I can't daven, I can't learn. I need a bigger house. So that's the second chelik. Now part 3. This was about decision making. Now let's talk about another area that has to do with this clarity that helps a person have bitachon, which last week we elaborated on this a lot, but let's connect it to this shir. There are many mahalchim that a person is using in business, lemashal, that he lav dafka has clarity why he's using this method. If it could be a sales pitch to say a certain mahalach, how he advertises, or a certain mivtza, a certain sale that he does, a certain way of speaking to people. And the truth is, because he went to a course that taught him to speak like that. Now he tried running it by his Rav. There's anything wrong to do it, to say this way, that way. His Rav said he doesn't see any. There's nothing. There's not lying. It's just a technique. It's just like a chokhmah. His Rav told him he's allowed to do it. But now, if you don't have the clarity, why are you talking like that? Why? Because you feel that you could trick him in? You feel, no, the Rav said I'm allowed to. If you're not clear, then there's definitely going to be no bitachon there. And you're not going to see siyata d'shmaya there. You have to work it out until you're clear. Like once in 2-3 weeks, people ask this question. They say that bituach leumi, if I'm going to say that my child is sick, whatever, then I can make a few thousand shekel a chodesh. So then, okay, so what's the question? Do you have a sick child? Oh, so here. So I'll tell you, I'm much with a child. And I went there and he told me that I could get now already 30%. They would approve me 30%. But if I change certain details, then I could get much more. I get 100%. So what's the question? Oh, the question is because I went to Rav. And the Rav told me that if it's only criteria and whatever, he said it could be its mutter. He told me it. So what's your question? Yeah, but I want to be talking I'm allowed to. This is like the regular. What's the answer to such a person? So you went to Rav, so what do you want? No, but I want to know bitochen. The teretz is, he's extremely not clear. Lomushon Zogan is going to take the money, because the Rav said he's allowed to, but his mindset, his whole tzulin is definitely going to be messed up. Because he's like, this is like something I don't want to talk about. This is like something I can't explain it because I don't want to explain it because it's like nakashmak. It's definitely not possible. It's not like it's a suffix now. Boy berega that you can't explain yourself, that means that you can have the right mindset. So it was the shaila. If the Chazal say that v'shinantom shayu divri Torah mechudod meficha, you have to be clear, crystal clear in Hilchas Shabbos if you're allowed to do it, if you're not allowed to do it. Sometimes the Rabbonim have this chush. They know that it's a machlokes. They really learned. They know there's 5 shitas. But they saw the situation and they understood what they feel they should paskin. And a person comes in and he says it's Beseda. And the guy's like, you sure? He says, yeah, it's Beseda. A Rav has to have that. If the Rav tells you on every Zach, listen, it's 5 shitas, then it's not your job to be a Rav. Sit and learn. You have to be able to be a chriya. You understand the matzah, yesh al mi lismich, it's Beseda. Or you should say, rather don't do it. No, don't do it. Nishkedai. Sometimes you could ask. Sometimes it's not kashrus shayla, so hilchas Shabbos, a yichud shayla. My brother-in-law is coming, and lemaisa there's being a door. Don't do it. A Rav. Nishkedai. No. But the Rav, he's clear. Once you're clear, then you could put your feelings to what you're doing. A malam in the ched is also like that. You can't add the feelings if you're not clear. I remember before I became a Gitchir in Yeshiva Ketana, I was trying to get some shimush. So one of the people I went to was a Gitchir a lot of years, and he told me such a stark word. He says, number 1, number 2, number 3, the biggest yesod is, I want you to be very, very well prepared. But listen with what he added. When you want to teach a piece of Gemara, you want to teach a Tosfos, be well prepared. You should be knowing it crystal clear. He says, not because I want you to be able to explain it properly. No, nicht because of that. He says, because, let's say you're a solid Balkishan, and you can figure it out. Don't worry, they're 14 years old. If you have to give away 30% of your nefesh while you're teaching to figure it out, you're taking away that 30% from the love to the children. That means if you're clear, then right now, you know where your focus, you know where your nefesh is, the smile to this bacha, the wink to chap who didn't understand, the situation to chap. 1 second, I'm going too quick. All your senses, all your chushim is totally tuned in to the classroom. Why? Because the chomah, the material, the material is there. You're so geschmack, and you're swimming like a fish in the water in the material. So now, okay, you could say, hey, Moshe, so what do you say? You're totally there. But if not, you'll figure it out. Don't worry, you'll explain it. But the nefesh is busy with something else. This yesod is selbe zach legabe bitochen. Selbe zach legabe tefillah. If while you're davening, or while you're saying it's bashert, you're trying to figure it out, it's bashert. You're saying on him, then you can't. There's no place for our heart to dive in and be there all the way, because your emes is nicht klar. So first, the person has to try to be mavara and understand why should I be doing this? That's why I should be doing this. So then he does it. No matter what, he does it geschmack. And his mind, they feel, I'm doing the right thing now. A person's trying to be mekayem a mitzvah, but he doesn't know if his wife is up to it. He doesn't know if it's the right thing, so he asked his wife, but he didn't ask her, but he only told her. And then while he's doing it, he can't have a geschmack, because he's like, oh, I always do the same mistakes. I'm doing avera now. It's a yesod which it's melaveh. It accompanies a person in Torah, in mitzvahs, in decisions, in tefillah, and every time you need to do a pa'ula and have the right mindset, the right feelings, there's a shlav before that. Be clear, and then you can be all the way there. Okay.
My friend, he taught me, he said,